Returning now to the core text of the SICHAH, we had earlier noted that a link can be developed between the mitzvah of Talmud Torah and that of Kriyat Shema by virtue of the fact that both mitzvot are based upon Dvarim 6:7. The mitzvah of Talmud Torah from the words V'shinantam levanecha v'dibarta bam, the mitzvah of Kriyat Shema v'dibarta bam, b'shachbacha u'v'kumecha. The link between these two mitzvot expresses itself in the view that although Talmud Torah at the highest level involves a total commitment to the study of Torah at every spare moment of one's life, a level of Torah study attainable by very few, for most at best would be Perek Echad Shacharit or Perek Echad Aravit, a session of Torah study both by day and by night, but in extreme circumstances where one cannot even allocate Perek Echad Shacharit or Perek Echad Aravit, one technically can fulfill the mitzvah of Talmud Torah through the recitation of the Kriyat Shema. Having said that, there is also an aspect in which the mitzvah of Talmud Torah does not equal to, is not comparable to, the mitzvah of Kriyat Shema, in that Kriyat Shema is treated as two independent mitzvot, the Kriyat Shema of the evening, u'b'shachbacha, and the Kriyat Shema of the morning, u'v'kumecha, whereas the mitzvah of Talmud Torah is treated as a single mitzvah spread throughout the entire 24-hour period. Which brings us to the core difficulty that the Rebbe in the SICHAH addresses regarding these two mitzvot. A major work that sits alongside the Rambam and the Shulchan Aruch is the Sefer HaChinuch, a work which systematically discusses the Taryag mitzvot of the Torah, a work that was published anonymously in 13th century Spain. As a build-up to the core difficulty, the Rebbe in the footnote points us to the Chinuch mitzvah Taf Chaf, that discusses mitzvah Kriyat Shema. According to the Chinuch, it is the mitzvah of Achdut Hashem, the oneness of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, and the rejection of dualism that underpins most religions outside of monotheism. Shenitzavinu lahamin ki Hashem yitbarech hu hapoel kol hametziot. A requirement to believe that HaKadosh Baruch Hu is the primary force for all existence. Echad, a single entity, beli shum shituf, without any combination of forces. Possibly a veiled reference and a rejection of Christianity that accepted the concept of the Trinity. And this is based upon Devarim 6:4, Shema Yisrael, Hashem Elokeinu Hashem, is Echad. The Chinuch goes on to define this mitzvah as applying to Eretz Yisrael and Chutz La'aretz, applying to the pre- and post-Churban periods, and a mitzvah that applies to both male and female equally. And then goes on to write, V'zot achat min ha-mitzvot. This is one of the mitzvot, she'amarnu b'tchilat ha-sefer, that was noted at the beginning of the sefer, possibly referring to the Sefer HaChinuch, she'ha'adam chayev bahem b'hatmada. Unlike most mitzvot, or at least the positive mitzvot, that are linked to a particular time period, this is a mitzvah that is constant, klomar, in other words, shelo yafsik chiyuvan me'elav le'olam. The obligation never ceases from the individual. Va'afilu rega akatan, even for one small moment. In contrast, the mitzvah of Talmud Torah embodies difference, embodies change, in which a distinction is made between the Torah study of Eretz Yisrael and the Torah study of Chutz La'aretz, between pre- and post-Churban time periods. There are differences between male and female, and even differences in the quality of Torah study at different times throughout the day. This is the core difficulty addressed by the SICHAH. The concept of Kriyat Shema, a belief in the unity of God, is a mitzvah that is constant, applies to male, female equally, and yet is split between day and night and treated as two independent mitzvot. In contrast, the mitzvah of Talmud Torah, despite the fact that it involves difference, involves change in a number of key areas, is a single mitzvah. Logic dictates the reverse. But before undertaking the Rebbe's solution to this core difficulty, we need to first look at the sources for the thesis that the mitzvah of Talmud Torah is one that embodies differences and changes amongst those who undertake this mitzvah.